spill out in such a way that they will fold in to their own universe and merge with that intricacy of universe within universe within universe within universe. Merge with that. So they're not this individual floating around and it being bouncing around. They're a focused consciousness that is capable of the entire gamut of it. It's what life can do. It's what life is. It's why this whole thing can happen. Because it knows exactly where it's at, exactly what it's doing, and its reasons, if it has any at all. It knows its own intentions. It knows what it wants. So does the heart in the present moment. So does the being who stands in the present moment. Those things just come out of their want in that present moment. You can do manifesting classes until you're blue in the face. There is no power of manifestation unless you have power to put into it. That's in the present moment. Why? That's what creation is. You guys understand what I'm saying? Creation is not going to happen. Or has happened. It continues. The fact that we are all breathing air, that we have these seamless moments all tied together, we're going to stretch into tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. Say, be present, now. Don't worry about what someone thinks of you right now, or where your relationship is at right now, or any of that stuff. Because all that does is take you out of the present moment. How do you understand anything from there? You're trying to understand it from a place you're not. You are right now. As much as you'd like to be some other time, you're not. Whatever state you're in, you're right now. That's where you are. If that sucks, accept it. Move on. Accept that it sucks. And start doing it differently. But don't plan ahead. Just start behaving differently in the present moment. The minute you reach for trained reaction, no, you're not there. When the same thing bums you out every time you get into it, just know you're not present. And understand this, please. Ego, that you understand the world with, or that you think you understand. The thing that thinks it actually knows something, that's the ego. It's the part of you that's convinced you know something. It can never be present. It is banned and barred from being present. It can't be. It doesn't, it's not alive. So therefore it can't really step in there. We can pretend it does. We do. By feeding our own thoughts life force. How do we do that? Hatred is a perfect example. It's a trained mental mantra. Black people, whatever. I mean, go on and on. That's not real. That is learned. It's taught, that is thought. It all comes from thought. Thought that now has life force put behind it. Your juice. Racism is basically a thought energized with life force, which causes the behavior in the person. Because the ego can do that. It can trick the being into giving up energy for its folly. I'm serious. It is a tricky son of a bitch. It will convince you you are happy and complete. And the next moment will show you you're not. You will incessantly believe this thought box. It's like thought box is God. We run to it. Whatever it says is real. We emotionally vibrate to it. It's insane. So you understand what I mean by the ego? You guys all know what the ego is, right? I don't know. It cannot be present. It cannot be right now. There's no way for it to be. It's the point of creation. There's nothing it can understand about it. It understands the past because it has structure now. And it can contemplate the future because it's a structure building piece of shit. It's useless. There's no reason to have one.
Why not?
Well, because we wanted it, I guess. I mean, that mind, that ego.
Yeah. I mean, is it here so we can learn to
I think
attention
we've been
to it?
trained into having it. I think it was really, I mean, I'm right there with Don Juan. Don Juan calls it the mud shadow. And I know what he's talking about. I've seen it. I've seen these things. It's the side of it that nobody wants to deal with. Trust me, no one wants to deal with. But the mind you run around and understand the world with, who says, this is Amy, who says that, who does that, who says, this person is like that, this person is like this, that's a tree, all of that isn't you. You've been, all children were conditioned into having a ego that's completely programmed by the elements around it. And it has nothing to do with your being alive. You understand what I'm saying? Because we are brilliant and energetic and loving. Yet you get in the mind and it's morose, dark, and violent. Is that us? Are we morose, dark, violent? I've never felt that way. I've had thoughts of it that cause an emotional reaction. But I've never actually felt the vibration of that. It's given to us by something much more potent than we could ever be. Something from deep, deep, deep out there in the universe that chooses to not have good intentions. It loves us. Or so it says. And what does it give us? Chaos in our own heads. I mean, I know every single person in this room would be a liar if you say you don't. Anyone watching this would be a liar if they said they didn't. A thought comes into your head and you're like, where the hell did that come from? You're in the moment, you're having a great time, and this thought comes in to knock you out of it. And you go, what the hell? Where'd that come from? Did you ever stop and really look at where it came from? Or did you just go, huh? Because if you stop, where the hell? And you look very quickly, you'll see it moving away after it's pretty much shot its dart into you. That's a way of saying it. It's not the way it is, but it's a way of saying it. The mind that we think with isn't programmed by our being. It's programmed by something else entirely. Something that lords it over us. It has a specific definition of what's acceptable. And the minute you step out of that, it comes down on you. We call that our conscience. Bullshit. It's an authoritative bludgeoner beating you down. That's why the being has stopped realizing its dreams. That's why the being has really stopped wanting to be present.